Hey everyone, if you've been on the fence about upgrading to a full-frame mirrorless camera but don't want something bulky, the Sony Alpha 7C might be exactly what you need. I've been shooting with it for a few weeks now, and honestly, it's changed how I travel and shoot without feeling like I'm lugging around a studio setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. One of the first things that stood out to me is how small and light it is for a full-frame camera. I mean, it's seriously the world's smallest and lightest full-frame mirrorless body, and it fits in a jacket pocket. I took it on a weekend trip to the mountains last month, and instead of bringing my DSLR and a couple of lenses, I just brought this and a 24 to 105mm lens. The weight difference was huge, I barely noticed it in my bag, and the image quality was still stunning. If you're used to shooting with a larger body, this feels like a game-changer for travel or street photography where you want to stay mobile. The image sensor is a 24.2 MP back-illuminated full-frame chip, and the detail you get is incredible. I shot some portraits in low light last week, and the colors were rich, the shadows were clean, and the highlights held up without blowing out. Even at higher ISOs, like 3200 or 6400, the noise is minimal. I pushed it to 12,800 for some night shots in the city, and the results were still usable, something I wouldn't have expected from a smaller body like this. Now, if you're into video, the 4K footage is really impressive. It uses the full pixel readout without any pixel binning or crop, so you get sharp, detailed video with great dynamic range. I used it to shoot a short film last month, and the HDR capabilities made the colors pop in post without needing a ton of grading. The autofocus is also solid for video, it tracked my face smoothly even when I was moving around, which is a huge plus if you're vlogging or doing run-and-gun interviews. The autofocus system itself is one of the best I've used. It has 693 phase detection points and 425 contrast points, covering 93% of the frame. I was shooting my dog running around the backyard, and it kept him sharp the entire time, even when he suddenly changed direction. That kind of reliability is a big deal if you're photographing fast-moving subjects like kids, pets, or sports. Another thing I love is the dynamic range. Sony claims 15 stops, and in practice, it's really noticeable. I shot a scene with bright sunlight streaming through a window and deep shadows in the background, and I was able to recover a ton of detail in both areas without losing quality. The 14-bit uncompressed RAW files give you a lot of flexibility in editing, which is great if you're serious about post-processing. The ISO range is also impressive. It goes from 50 to 204,800, and even at the higher end, the images are usable if you need to shoot in near-dark conditions. I tested it at a concert last week where the lighting was all over the place, and while I wouldn't print those shots at poster size, they were definitely good enough for social media or a quick blog post. Now, it's not perfect. The menu system is still a bit of a maze, especially if you're coming from a different brand. It took me a while to find some of the settings I use most often, and I had to dig through a few submenus just to change something simple like the white balance. Also, the battery life is decent but not amazing. I'd recommend bringing a spare if you're planning a full day of shooting, especially if you're using the LCD a lot for video. Overall, though, this camera punches way above its weight. It's small enough to take anywhere, delivers full-frame quality, and has features that pros and enthusiasts will appreciate. If you've been holding off on a full-frame mirrorless because you didn't want to carry something heavy, this might be the one to finally push you over the edge. If you're curious and want to see more, the link is below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.